Welcome back to Alliance War. It's Season 40, War 7, and 4 Loki is facing Chaos. We know a few of the guys over there, and we wish them the best of luck. All right, so moving on to my team selection. We got to have a good back half of the season to make up for the front half, which means we're going to be riding Miguel's coattails along with the jockstrap, as well as our good friend Carl from DLLs. All right, so let's jump into it. We're going to start off on Path 4A, where there's this Terrax. In my ongoing pursuit to remind myself how stupid I was in the first war of the season, we make sure that Carl is in magma form so that we can absolutely obliterate this Terrax. There is a little bit of a ramp up with Absorbing Man here, but once you get to the big burst damage after refining the magma form, it is just super satisfying to do the heavy cancel into the special 2 for this massive amount of burst damage. Just really super satisfying to watch that health bar go down. All right, now originally PWF was going to do this fight with Havoc, but I decided to swipe it from PWF with Absorbing Man. So we're going to throw on Magma Form because, as we know, he'll be immune to the Incinerate. He will also have increased energy resistance to deal with the shocks. And so all we got to do is just keep him from throwing a special 1, and we should be able to get this dude down really, really, really quickly. I mean, look at this. Yeah, he throws a special 2, but I'm just dexing it completely because I'm just feeling the absolute flow of this fight. And, you know, as dangerous as Knull can be when you have an experienced player, a wonderful Carl player, he's going to do it. But that, of course, was Legacy, and I suck. So here's my fight against Knull, which is like the worst possible version of this fight that still ends in a solo. So I start off pretty strong, but for some reason I'm trying to get parries here against this Knull when I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm hoping he's going to throw a heavy, and instead he just throws a special 1. All right, so now the plan should be, hey, throw your special when the counter goes down. But I don't do that. I just throw it right away. And so now I'm in a situation where I'm going to have to play with reverse controls. And instead of dashing back, I had just like a dropped input or something there and ate a couple hits to the face. Then there's this huge damage from the special into my block because of aggression prowess. I parry myself. And look at the health disparity, and then look at Carl's burst damage. Jeez. Should have been a death, but that dude's a monster, so it's a solo. And shout out to Lags for letting me use his video in mine. All right, so this fight was originally supposed to go to Super Sam with Overseer, who's a great counter here, but because I had swiped the Knull fight from PWF, and I was doing the next fight on 26, I decided to go ahead and take this Mangog fight with Miguel. This is a super easy fight. I'm obviously very comfortable fighting Mangog pretty much anywhere on the map because I have fought him so often with Spider-Man 2099 that the fact that it's on this node here where you just got the threat of the root really doesn't come into play. As you can see in this fight, I'm only going to trigger the root once. That was the very beginning. The rest of the time, it's just going to be a very simple fight. Get in a couple hits, get the dex to extend the debuffs, rinse, repeat. Okay, now we move on to node 26. This is the Hazard Shift Bleed Shock. We're going to do this fight with Carl in Uru form. This is a fight that has been tested in other battle groups. Coincidentally, I think Lags did it, and I'm going to try and follow his recipe. The recipe is this: manage your combo. Otherwise, it's a pretty simple fight. Absorbing Man doesn't place debuffs as part of his kit. So really the goal is just to get Uru refined, to get the big burst damage going against Void. And we can see him starts ticking down. We want to time our combos so that way we avoid his debuffs. And we're going to take a little bit of damage here, but look at the big burst damage from that special 1. It is just beautiful. And so this is a matchup which ordinarily you would not think would be pretty good. You know, obviously Void using a Mystic Champ is something that in general we try to avoid as planners, but because of the hazard shift, constantly fueling Carl's kit, it's actually a really, really good matchup. And it was better than my original thought, which was Falcon. Yeah, I really like this, and I really appreciate the guys in BG3 Manual, Syar, and Lags for showing us the way. Good job by you guys. All right, now we're going to keep on grooving onto path 9B. This is the hazard shift path, bleed and shock. And the first fight here is another absorbing man, which is fitting. And I'm just going to do this fight with Miguel. It's pretty much a nothing Miguel fight. The only thing I did between Void and this fight is I changed my masteries to go ahead and max Despair, as well as increase my attack. I did go ahead, and you'll notice I do not have Dexterity on in this fight. And the reason is because later on I have to fight a Rintrah, and if I'm using Miguel against Rintrah or Mephisto, I prefer to take Dexterity off. With Miguel, you can Dex without having the Dexterity mastery turned on, so I lose absolutely nothing in terms of my abilities. To dodge attacks as well as to extend debuffs by having that off. And the benefit of having it off is that I don't have to worry about triggering any of Rintrah's stuff. So Carl goes down very, very quickly. The Despair controls the regen, hitting block. Never have to worry about the hazard shift. Now we have this Mysterio. And I considered doing this fight with Carl, but I was already in the Spider-Man 2099 zone headspace. And so I just wanted to keep it going. And the fight starts off very well, but it kind of gets away from me a little bit at the end, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. But yeah, all I'm doing is hitting block and getting some dexes on. I really, I don't know why I wasn't a little bit more aggressive here at the beginning. I just thought, Mysterio's AI just really always scares me. And because I wasn't aggressive enough, like right there, I should have gone in. I get myself backed into a corner a couple times, and it really kind of cost me. Because here I am back in the corner. I have to hit him. I take some hits. Fortunately, it's only a 3-hit combo. I hit him once. I get a shock. He's hitting into my block. I have to hit him again. And I don't come in and hit him in his block when he gives me space. Finally, he backs up again. I get a little bit of space, and he immediately throws a special one, of course. And now I'm back in the corner again, but his health is so low, it should just be a matter of the ruptures ticking him down if I can just avoid getting hit. I do. Mysterio goes down, and I lose a lot of unnecessary health, just like I did against Knull. But now we have this Rintrah on 47. This is why I removed the Dexterity Mastery. And this is just a nothing fight unless you parry yourself at the very beginning. But after that little mistake, there's absolutely nothing to report here. So we'll speed it up just to get through it. I'm hitting block for the ruptures. I'm dexing for them to be paused. And Rintrah is going to go down pretty quickly. I'm doing some heavies, exhaustions, just to build power. Because I noticed that my wither timer was under halfway, and so I wanted to build up to a special 2 so I could get a second wither on him. And yeah, that was just the reason. But he goes down very, very easily. Okay, next fight, node 48, the Sasquatch. Sasquatch is a nothing fight for Miguel, and we will parry him, get the exhaustion, shut off his wraths, and now we'll just beat him to death. I think only once in this fight does he ever trigger, do I ever get over a bar of power and thereby trigger the node to give him a buff. But, I'll just go ahead and eat the falter because it's free willpower healing at that point. So, not a dangerous fight at all. Miguel just handles Sasquatch so easily. So I did all of my fights, Terrax through Sasquatch, in one go, one set of boosts, very early on in the war. And I burned a bunch of units for energy refills, but that's cool because it meant that I freed everybody up to go right away. because I did 22 and 23. And I got through all these fights, some of which I was a little nervous about, and then I got to get back to work, which is good. All right, my final fight of this war is this Chavez on 54. And this is not me bragging. It's that I simply have no fear of America Chavez on defense. I know a lot of guys hate fighting her because she's so quick with her heavy, but I fight her in AQ almost every day, and because I fight her in AQ so often, I'm just so familiar with fighting her that I'm really just not scared, and I feel like I know how to handle her business. Certainly Miguel is a good counter to her because he can control her power gain, and then just in terms of the play style of pushing her to special ones, dexing the special one, and then punishing. She's easy to fight as long as you are able to keep a control of the map as well as her power. So Miguel is the number one power control champ in the game, and he easily handles this Chavez. So there we go. Another clean war for Clown. Hopefully the second half of the season is better than the first, and I'll see you in the next life, chat.